there, today we're going to be talking about my OC Addi, and in case you don't know what an OC is an original character created by me, and this is one of my OCs and her name is Addison, but I like to refer to her as Addi. Before I specifically explain her story, I'm going to explain my story in general. My story is called Corrupted, and it's split into three different kind of characters, three different stories based on the characters, and this one is Addison. So my book is set in an alternate universe of Earth, and certain kids can develop certain powers. And so it follows four main kids in three stories, and those are Corrupted Lies featuring Aiko, Corrupted Promises featuring Dahlia and Connor, and then Corrupted Tears featuring Addi. So today I'm going to be mainly focusing on Addi and her story and trying to explain a bit about her. I've already kind of talked about Dahlia, and I'll link that video down below if you want to go watch it. I'd also love if you guys would tell me which character you want to see next, because I could totally make a video about them. But back to Addi's story. This is Addi, and Addi actually does not have a last name. And there's a reason for it, not just because I can't come up with one. Addi is actually corrupted, which in my world, if you're corrupted, that means you have a power. But Addi doesn't really have a power, she has more or less of a curse. Her curse is that she's basically poisonous, and she has black blood and black tears. So that's why she has black tears streaming down her face. It's not because she's just crying and her mascara is running everywhere. Now, about Addi, I actually have a huge canon about her. The thing is, I was talking to Sage's sketchbook about this, and we've kind of talked about it that Addi is actually related to Dakota and Amaya Abiko. So Addi is actually Addison Abiko, but she's in a different universe than them. The thing is, she was in a parallel universe called Solus, and then Dakota was testing out their powers as the timekeeper. And the thing is, they were testing out their powers, and then they accidentally transported Addi and Shay into an alternate universe called Corrupted. So when Addi came over, she developed these really demonic powers, and it was just a coincidence that she was in a world where people actually develop powers, and Shay was just a normal kid. She didn't develop any corrupted powers. This thing is kind of all canon. It doesn't have to be in the story, but I kind of like it in there because Dakota actually comes and talks to Addi a lot in her story, so I'm gonna try to add it in there somehow. But as a kid, Addi grows up in an orphanage with Miss Olanchi, and Miss Olanchi is the orphanage keeper, and she helps Addi help develop her powers and figure out what exactly the extent is of them, because Addi then will touch plants and the plants would die. So Addi wears gloves a lot, and so if her glove touches you, then you wouldn't die, but if her raw skin touches you, then you would die. As a kid, Addi kind of kills a girl, but this girl was actually her crush, and this girl was actually Shay, and Shay was Addi's girlfriend back in Solus. So, coincidence? I think not. I don't want to spoil too much about what happens with Addi, especially since I really want to write a book about her. Obviously, it would be the third book in the trilogy, so it wouldn't be out for a while, but I will answer any questions down below if you have any, especially since her story is a little complicated. Alright, now I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions. I just recently asked this in a community tab, so sorry if you didn't get to respond. The first question is, what exactly is her power? I think I've already talked about this, but she did get teleported from a different universe, so she doesn't exactly have a corrupted power from the universe she's in. She kind of just got demonic from the transportation between realms. So she has lethal touch, basically poisonous skin, and then she also has black blood and black tears. The next question is, who is her closest friend? The thing is, everybody's pretty scared of Addi since she does have the ability to kill people, and she has killed a couple people. But the thing is, her closest friend was probably Shay, who is actually her partner. And then when she gets teleported, it probably is Dakota, because they appear a lot in Addi's life, and Addi feels pretty comfortable around them. Okay, next question is her birthday. As I've already mentioned, Addi did grow up in an orphanage, and she kind of just appeared on the doorsteps, so they don't exactly know when her exact birthday was, so they kind of just defaulted it to January 1st. So she just celebrates her birthday every year on January 1st, but the thing is, she doesn't really have many friends at the agency, so she most of the time spends it alone. Next question is, how did you get inspo/ideas for her? Back in 2019, I kind of came up with the idea of Aiko and the idea of Corrupted. And then I started adding in new characters, and obviously I have cut a lot of the characters since. And the thing is, I had this journal of stuff with Addi, and I've obviously changed a lot. I was originally going to have her not know about her powers, and then have her fall in love with the guy, and then the guy, kisses her and then dies because he touched her. But I've always had the idea that she had poisonous skin, and I've always liked this idea of her having poisonous skin, but her design and story has obviously changed a lot. The next question is general story about her. Obviously, I've mentioned that she did grow up in an orphanage, and one day, Miss Olanchi, her orphanage teacher told her that she could go to the playground, but she had to wear her gloves. But she went to the playground and it was really hot that day, so she took off her gloves, and then she saw this really pretty girl, and she realized, oh, I really like her, she's really pretty. But then she was swinging on swing set, and then the girl came over, and she grabbed Addi's hand, and Addi wasn't wearing her gloves, so then the girl died, and Addi blames herself for it. And then she gets taken to the agency of corrupted powers because they call the police, and then the agency gets alerted and she gets taken there. So then she falls into the serious depressive state where she just doesn't believe that anybody deserves to live, especially since she killed the perfect girl. So she journals a lot in her journal at the agency and writes all this stuff about how how she's not perfect, and how people think she's stupid, and how she almost kills people, and just about how things haven't been great for her. And so when she gets released, she doesn't really do much. She just kind of sits alone, and then she develops this thought well, if the perfect girl didn't deserve to live, then nobody does. So then she kind of goes on a killing rampage, and that's where I'm going to stop, because I'm going to hopefully write this book someday, and so you can read about it and learn a lot more about her. Next question is family. Obviously, Addi is an orphan, but I had that huge canon where she's actually related to Amaya and Dakota and all of their siblings, so she's actually from the Solace universe, which is actually pretty cool. Next question is, when does she die? She dies! When have I told you that? Anyways, once I got done finishing all of her highlights and all the coloring, I added this page of sticky notes where it's all of her journal entries, or at least some of them, and they say stuff like, today's Christmas, but I hate Christmas, why is giving so special when everything is just taken away in the end, from Addi. And all of these different journal entries, so I thought that was pretty cool. And here's how the finished spread came out. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment them below, especially since my community tab wasn't even up for that long. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye.